don't be afraid of disruption. It can be such a good thing to have a moment of reflection and to understand that that moment of disruption can help you become more adaptive and more resilient in your work. Hi, my name is JaneenBryant. I'm a dialogue facilitator and a trainer. I got into this work because I was an elementary school teacher and I taught kindergarten, and I loved working with the little ones. They taught me so much. But what I noticed in that work is that so many of the children that I was working with were coming from families that could not navigate the community. They couldn't navigate the school, they couldn't navigate my classroom, and they certainly couldn't navigate the community. So they didn't have access to resources. They felt in many ways really isolated. And so I was a teacher and I felt like my hands were tied. And as soon as I got access to resources, as I continued to get to know them and continue to know their barriers, I realized that these were things that we could work together to overcome if they just knew the conduits. And so I continued on, became an educator at a museum, continued working with families and youth, and eventually began to realize that our communities were full of resources. You just had to know how to get access to it. And so I work with nonprofits, museums, and individuals to help them gain the access points, to help them gain those resources, and to help them understand that they are capable of being their own agent of change. I think we get in the lane and we stay there. And then we hit some kind of barrier. And so for many of my families, the barrier that they first encountered was language. They literally did not speak enough English to call up the resource centers. They couldn't call the school. And those kinds of barriers are things that we can overcome if you just know how to get a translator or how to get the materials translated. And so for me, finding ways to create the pathways and the roadways for these families was integral to my success because I wanted to see them successful. So that's just one, but eventually as I moved into museum work and community engagement, the barriers started to look a little different. Those barriers became acknowledging the school to prison pipeline. Those barriers became acknowledging that police brutality exists. Those barriers became acknowledging that our teachers were not culturally competent. They didn't know how to work with people who looked different than them, but they were immersed in schools that were different. The barriers became working with organizations who did not understand the communities they were embedded in. And so they wanted to increase community and audience engagement, had no one on the staff that looked like people they were engaging, had no one in leadership who understood and could empathize. So much of my work is around building empathy, building understanding, and helping cultivate a feeling of reciprocity in communities. Those kind of partnerships that are organic, those kind of partnerships that shine a light on people who are often unheard, that's the work that lights me up. So as I moved and grew in community engagement and organizational development, I started to realize that there was a space for entrepreneurs. And so as a woman of color, I felt like I often saw lots of women that looked like me who weren't in the same spaces that I was. If I was going to be in that space, I wanted other people to join me. And so the first company I launched was Facilitate Movement, and that is an organization where I am a sole proprietor and look at how to develop organizational structures that support diversity and inclusion and facilitate organic relationships between the communities and the organizations that seek to serve them. And then recently have launched the RealEight, which is a company of 3 women of color who coach professional and personal development and help people think about the vision for themselves and their lives. So if you want to learn more about the work that we're doing, you should know that museums and nonprofits all over the country, they're paying attention to demographic trends and they're trying to figure out how they can use technology and social media to really make the most of our new audience engagement strategies. You want to learn more? Visit us at the Empathetic Museum or facilitatemovement.com. You can also check out therealeight.com if you want to know about professional and personal development. We believe in the work that we do, and I'm so excited that so much of the work around empathy and community building is now being recognized nationally by the American Alliance of Museums. I think if you are interested in building community and authentic community engagement, you can reach me at facilitatemovement.com, and I'm happy to talk to you more so you can learn how to get your organization strategically aligned.